This is problem 12 from solving logarithmic equations. So I'm going to take this and move this as the exponent. And so I have ln, and now I'm going to do ln, and I'm going to divide, taking the top and dividing it by the bottom, and then I'm going to raise that to the 1/2 power. Okay, when I have the ln on both sides, which is really log base c, remember I'm able to fully wipe that out, and I have 3x over x minus 2 raised to the 1/2 equals x. Now another way to write this would be the square root. So 3x over x minus 2 equals x. How do we remove the square root? Because square root and raised to the 1/2 power are the exact same thing. Okay, so I'm going to square both sides because I know that a square and a square root, we think of them as canceling out. Really, they're reduced down to a 1. I have 3x over x minus 2 equals x squared. And now my whole goal is to solve here. I'm going to solve for x and then plug it back in to see if it's a viable solution. 3x times 1 is 3x. And now I have x squared times x minus 2. Let's distribute to get 3x equals x to the third minus 2x squared, moving everything to the same side. So I'm going to move this over by subtracting. And when I move it over, I recognize that all of these terms contain an x. Let's factor it on x. X squared minus 2x minus 3. Now this trinomial I recognize is factorable. What multiplies to equal -3 and combines to equal -2. Different signs. The larger number is going to be negative, so I believe these multiply to equal -3 and they combine to equal a -2. X minus 3, x plus 1, and this is an x. So I have 3 different answers to test. One answer when I set this equal to 0 is 0. When I set this equal and solve, I get 3. When I set this equal and solve, I end up with a -1. Now I need to test them. Remember, if we look back at any of the other videos that I shared with you, these two numbers have to be greater than 0. They have to be positive numbers. So let's start with the 0, testing the 0. If I plug in a 0, 3 times 0 is 0. We can't have 0 once I evaluate this portion. It's an extreme solution. Let's try 3. 3 times 3 is 9, it's positive. 3 minus 2 is 1, it's positive, and 3. That works. Let's try -1. 3 times -1 is a -3. Again, it's a negative value. It has to be greater than 0. It's extraneous. I have one answer of 3.